You are now tuned in to DameSmiff.
Welcome to Musician Talks with DameSmiff. This is episode 45, and today I want to talk to you guys about click hopping in the music industry. But before I get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share this video with anybody who's interested in the music industry, improving their soft skills as a musician, or just want to learn about how creatives and musicians live today in society. Now, what is click hopping? Click hopping is what happens where you get a very particularly popular or valuable artist who has the ability to perform or collaborate with multiple groups or artists. And I want to talk about why that can be a positive, a negative, and what things to really look out for when doing that and what to deal with. Now, for most people, when they hear that, it has a negative connotation, but we're going to look at it for what it is and then try to identify it and then see where you may fit in that definition. So, click hopping, like I said, is when a very valuable artist can perform and collaborate with different groups and artists. The negative connotation comes from that, where when the artist has very little value and tries to do that. But in this instance, I'm going to go with good faith and assume that you have some value to bring to people you collaborate with. Now, click hopping happens typically once you develop the sound or you develop the talent that can be commoditized or become a commodity, and it's of value to other people because it brings maybe profit or notoriety to them and what they're doing. So to give you an example, if you're a producer that has a very unique and highly consumable sound, I'm not going to say it's the sound of the time, but people in your area, whoever you're working with, it's really working for them. This is a little different than being hired to produce for somebody. This is more so you're wearing and producing for them in terms of their brand, and you'll do that with pretty much anybody you come across with. The negative connotation with that comes from if the value isn't necessarily reciprocated between the two parties. So like you're a producer and you have a sound, but you'll produce for this artist and the artist doesn't get what they want, so then you produce for another artist and another group and they don't get what they want, and so forth, and it keeps repeating itself. Now, the biggest example people always point out in terms of click hopping is Drake, and he's probably the most successful version of that today, but he's also the most positive version of that. Meaning whatever song he gets onto, whether you like it or not, it's going to be of benefit to whoever he's getting on the song with. So click hopping isn't necessarily inherently bad. It's just something that you have to really, really work up to be able to do. And it's not something that's easy. You have to really be on point and very, very good at what you're doing. Now, the best approach to this is to honestly develop your own clique and then branch out from there. Doing it as an independent or solo artist or an artist that's not really affiliated with a group already can be a little more difficult because, as I've said before in a previous episode, that track record and that resume or that network of collaboration will really help you in terms of being able to move around the different rooms in the industry. Now, the last thing I want to point out is the bad part about click hopping doesn't necessarily come from just this idea that you have no loyalty or things like that, because at the end of the day, it's business. So if something makes sense for you to do it, it's gonna make sense. It doesn't help you to not be decisive with your actions. So with that being said, if you are gonna be this artist or creator or producer or things like that hasn't settled down with one group or clique or brand or label or anything like that, you have to make sure you bring enough value to the table to where it's possible for you to do it. So now I want to pose a question. If you thought click hopping was a negative term, just inherently, like you just shouldn't do it, if you thought click hopping was negative, what are some of the ways that you personally can turn that into a positive? So if you think click hopping is negative, what are some of the ways you can turn that into a positive? And that's all I have for you today. This was Musician Talks with DameSmiff, episode 45. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And share this with everybody from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. So, with that being said, that's all I have for you today. And I'm out.